Hey, thanks for tuning in, and I sure hope this finds you doing well. I wanted to share from First John chapter number 4. We've looked at some verses here before. In chapter 4, John is sharing a lot about the urgency or the commandment to love. And I want us to look, beginning in verse 19, he says, "We love because he first loved us. If anyone says, 'I love God,' and hates his brother, he's a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And this commandment we have from him: whoever loves God must also love his brother." Well, as disciples of Jesus Christ, we can't get away from the truth that the one thing that is to make us unique as followers of Jesus is the way that we love one another. And over through the New Testament scriptures, we are called again to love. We see this in the Gospels, in Jesus' teaching. We see Paul talk about it. He says, owe no man anything but to love one another. And of course, we see it very clearly in John's writings. But it's important to remember that in verse 19, he says, "We love because he first loved us." You see, friends, we don't have the capability in and of ourselves to love until we first have entered in and experienced his love. When Jesus told his disciples to love your enemies, I'm sure they were looking befuddled, like, how can we do that? Why would we do that? When he talked to the Jewish people about, the great commandment is to love God and to love your neighbor, they instantly were asking, well, who's my neighbor? Because we're always looking for a way to limit our responsibility, to limit our responsibility, or limit our liability, maybe another way of saying it. But listen to this again. We love, that's you and me, because he first loved us. So he is the source. He doesn't love us because we first loved him. We love him because he first loved us. And because we are a people who have received that love and been infused by that love, then we are to love one another, to love others. And John goes forward with the application. He says, don't be fooling yourself. You can't say legitimately so that you love God and hate your brother. You see, there's no room for hatred of one another in the kingdom of God. It's a kingdom about love. It's a kingdom about life. And we who are his disciples, we are to be agents of that love and life. He says, and this commandment we have from him: whoever loves God must also love his brother. Sometimes a brother, a physical brother, a spiritual brother, a neighbor, might be difficult to love. And when we come to that place where we're having a hard time loving that person, you know what we do? We stop and we surrender and we give God permission to love through us. We simply say, Lord, you who are love, you live in me. Will you love this person through me? Because we're just kidding ourselves if we think we love God and are walking in that love and living in that love when our hearts are full of hatred for another. He's the source of our love. And he is the one who empowers and enables us to love each other, our brothers, our neighbors, even our enemies. Well, I hope that you will let that truth sink in, that you'll let him examine you and reveal to you in ways that Maybe you've been coming short on the area of loving. And maybe you need to be willing to ask someone, hey, do you see this in me? I've used it before, but we're thinking about, go to your wife and say, or your spouse and say, hey, if you had one adjective to describe my life, what adjective would you choose? And if they choose something other than love, well, it's probably time for us to kind of get quiet with the Lord and say, Lord, I really do want to be a vessel that expresses your love and life. Will you love through me? Hey, live in his love because he loves you. And remember, he loved you first, and we love him because he loved us. And that doesn't stop with us. It just keeps on going. So let that love flow into a hurting world. I love you, and I hope you have a great day. God bless.